What a week it's been. Against all the odds, we survived another 5 days on the front line of video games journalism. Also, the PlayStation Vita came out.
You sure did. And now it's time to deploy another Super Start Select containing your regular ration of news, feedback, and in the middle, a chunky feature. This time, snowboarding savant Johnny Chiodini takes to the slopes to talk to a pro boarder about SSX, the upcoming reboot of the snowboarding franchise.
We guarantee you laughs, we guarantee you good times, we guarantee you your satisfaction or your money back. So let's hit it.
First up, there is a new Medal of Honor game on the way. In its latest issue, OXM tells us EA's got its Danger Close studio prepping a sequel to 2010's Afghanistan set Medal of Honor reboot. It's out in October and it's called Medal of Honor Warfighter. After we guessed the naming committee rejected Medal of Honor Man Shooter and Medal of Honor Gunliker for being not generic enough and went for lunch. Last time, the guys at US studio Danger Close had a helping hand from Swedish studio DICE, who made the multiplayer for Medal of Honors before 2011's more successful and better reviewed Battlefield 3. This time the game's being made multiplayer and all by Danger Close, though it will run on DICE's lovely Frostbite 2 engine. There's no footage of the game yet or anything in the way of story or setting details, but here is one picture. You can expect to see more though coming out of the Game Developers Conference in the first week of March.
Next up, we turn our attention to financially bedeviled video game retailer Game right here in the UK. If you've been tuning in to Daily Start Select this week, you'll already be well informed about the company declining to stock any of Ubisoft's PS Vita launch titles, which came in the wake of its news of money woes, trouble with getting credit insurance apparently raising issue with buying in new stock. Well, it looks like the video game exodus from their shelves isn't stopping at Ubisoft Vita titles, as Game is now dropping the last story from their lineup too. In a statement to VG247, the retailer confirmed the news while also taking the opportunity to point out the other titles that will be available for purchase. Let's read. There is a lot of activity going on in our stores and online this weekend, including the releases of Syndicate Executive Edition, Jak and Daxter Collection, Zumba Fitness Rush, Binary Domain, and Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. The last story for the Wii is not in stock, and we have apologised to any customers this has affected. Site Nintendo Life is also reporting that letters have been posted to pre-order customers saying sorry. Unfortunately, we are no longer stocking the last story on Wii. If you return to the store, they will be happy to refund your £5 deposit. I apologise for any inconvenience caused. If you haven't actually heard of The Last Story yet, it's a JRPG title set in a medieval/future mashup world by the original creator of the Final Fantasy series, Hironobu Sakaguchi. Mark's reviewing it as we speak, so we'll be letting you know soon if it's worth buying something else instead. Until then, there's been speculation over the future of Game as a whole, as Tekken Prime 3D for the Nintendo 3DS has also failed to appear on shelves. But tell us, do you even still buy your games in store, or are you online for life? Drop us a comment below. Here at GameSpot, our talents are as diverse as they are many. Outside of work, I'm a prize-winning topiarist, multi-instrumentalist jazz warlock, and fusion-powered love machine. Also, I can roll my tongue.
Last week, I discovered a new element. It's lethally radioactive. It's going to kill us all.
Then there's Johnny. He's a karate genius. He's got more black belts than Dante. But how, we wondered, would he fare in unarmed combat with the mountains of Serbia?
In the gallant pursuit of knowledge, therefore, we strapped him to a snowboard, bundled him onto a plane, and pushed him down a hill like a bearded avalanche.
But bombing down the frosty slopes alongside him was British pro rider Scott Penman. Not only can he do a killer roundhouse to the piece, but he can do like flips and stuff.
Plus, there was some talk about snowboarding series reboot SSX. Let's watch, shall we?
After a prolonged absence, SSX has finally been rebooted, giving the franchise a whole new lease on life. And this time, it's man versus mountain. Man. Mountain. Man. Mountain. Man. Mountain. Hi, this is Johnny for GameSpot UK here in Kopalnik, Serbia, home of the big snow festival, to check out the newly rebooted SSX. And let me tell you, all this man versus mountain stuff, I intend to win. Alright, so I'm not exactly going to be jumping out of helicopters anytime soon, mostly because I'd never snowboarded in my entire life before heading out to Serbia to try and learn to do a bloody front flip. Still, the least I could do was try, and try I did. The first day went, have a look.
Hello, so I just finished my first ever day of snowboarding and it was quite challenging. I spent most of it on my bum and I have this bruise.
Super high def bruise.
Needless to say, it's made me respect people that do this for a living a hell of a lot more. I'm kind of glad that I'm not one of them and I get paid to be slightly sarcastic about video games a lot. Speaking of which, it's time to go check out SSX. It's a good segue there.
The SSX reboot has brought a number of changes to the franchise, but the most obvious of these is that the gameplay's been split into 3 component parts. The first 2 are fairly obvious. Race it, race down the mountain, get to the bottom before everyone else. Trick it, also fairly straightforward. Get to the bottom looking as balls out awesome as you can along the way. And the third, well, that's a bit less straightforward. Survive It takes place across the game's 9 different deadly descents, throwing in all sorts of devilish twists, turns and random events, all aimed at making the game more challenging. Oh, and breaking your spine if you're not careful enough. Infinitely more comfortable with the idea of breaking my virtual spine as opposed to my actual one, I merrily jumped onto the game, and a lot of fun I had with it too. I will admit I'm a long-time fan of the series, so playing the new SSX felt a lot like coming home. It still plays intuitively, yet allows for those moments where during a big air you can sit back and go, what am I doing? With some old favourite characters returning from SSX Tricky, there's a rewarding dose of nostalgia in there for long-time boarders, meaning SSX feels like a game opening up a brave new frontier without losing its original cool. So that's the basic gameplay down, but lest we forget, this is an EA title. What about all the fancy bells and whistles for people with one of those newfangled internet connections I keep hearing so much about? Well, they'll be getting their hands on RiderNet, a network built around challenging people on your friends list to outperform you in-game. Connect with your friends, race with them, or set them a challenge without them being online. You can also drop geotags in hard-to-reach places on each course and challenge your friends to collect them. If you've dabbled with Need for Speed's autolog feature, you'll have the basic idea. So with a bit of time on the game under my belt, it was time to log a bit more on the slopes.
Alright, so just got back from playing SSX and it was fun. I played Tricky to death back in 2001 when that came out, and it felt very familiar, which was nice. It's good to see the franchise kind of returning to that kind of pedigree. Not really that keen to strap this thing to my feet and try any tricks, but luckily I know a man who is. Segue.
This is Scott Penman. He's a British pro boarder known for, well, pro boarding. Alright! Here he is doing a front flip. And here he is grinding something. And here he is doing a third thing that I just plain don't understand. Hard though it may be to believe, I was still struggling on the baby slopes at this point, so Scott was kind enough to stop flying through the air for a few minutes and give me a bit of coaching.
Looking over your shoulder so you know where you're going. Try and build up a little bit more momentum first. Well, that was a good first go.
Yeah?
Should we try again?
No?
And that was pretty much how the entire session went, so I begged Scott to let me take the board off my feet and just have a bit of a chin wag instead. Happily, he agreed.
So I'm Scott Penman.
Nice to meet you, Scott.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great, great.
Now, a little bit curious, because obviously we're on a mountain. How exactly did you get into snowboarding? I understand video games had a small part in that.
Well, yeah, like playing Cool Borders series as a kid, and just that sort of showed me snowboarding, and then got to go out and try it one time, and I was just addicted from there. You know, got the bug, as the cliche line is, and here I am, still riding around.
Nice. And how did you end up here with an SSX Plus, the sticker plasters on your board and all that?
I got involved with SSX just before the start of the season, and was at the Freeze Festival with the guys, and just, yeah, it's been a great opportunity to come out and ride and just film some stuff, and yeah, it's cool to be involved. It's great.
Right. Now, obviously you've seen the game. What do you think of it, kind of as as a boarder?
Yeah. Well, yeah, as a rider, I mean, it's wicked to play a game that you've got a passion for, and yeah, it's definitely my style. Like the music video, the gameplay, like just how wild you can go. Like yeah, I'm all about it.
Do you find your knowledge in boarding helps you out in the game at all, or?
Yeah, I guess for sort of the creativity, like when you're snowboarding on a mountain, you're going to look for an interesting spot, like something that no one else is doing, and you're going to try and be like, the first person to do that line, or the person to get that high or whatever. So, and I think the game really incorporates that well, especially with like the G tags and stuff like that. It's like, or to be the first person to get there, and so it's a kind of like yeah, try and beat me, try and get up here, So I think that's definitely a part of snowboarding, and definitely a bit where it correlates between the two.
So what did I learn during my time in Serbia? Well, snowboarding is hard, Scott Penman makes it look easy, this is a very unflattering angle to film myself from, and SSX is a bit of alright if I'm honest. The game is out on the 2nd of March, but if you can't wait until then, you can always just download the demo now on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network.
I never knew Johnny was so talented at eating the side of a mountain. In fact, every day we learn something new from this show, and GameSpot mathematicians calculate that 98.3% of the time is down to your edifying feedback.
Feedback like that of GameSpot user Cypher, who has some ideas on the advanced copies of Mass Effect 3 due to be hoisted into the stratosphere by high-altitude weather balloons. As we said on last week's show, when these GPS-tracked space editions of the game come back down to Earth, it's finders keepers. He says, "I love Mass Effect, but somehow launching your product into space seems like a bad business move. Step 1, make product. Step 2, launch product into space. Step 3, step 4, profit? What the f is step 3?
So I reckon step 3 goes something like this. While the whole world is busy watching the sky for free copies of Mass Effect 3, BioWare breaks into Fort Knox and steals all the gold bars of the Federal Reserve, piles them into a dump truck, and then heads to the docks to sail away
That's
to...
just the plot of Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Okay, in that case, they should hijack a snowy airport, but they should carry 2 different types of ammunition for their guns,
Yeah,
like
that's Die
blue
Hard
ones. So BioWare breaks into a plaza. Yippee-ki!
I'm going to have to stop you right there, because GameSpot user Raildor has a question. Do you think an air rifle will take down a weather balloon? Well, Raildor, we don't know, but a well-placed rocket-propelled grenade should do the trick. As the writer of this week's winning comment, you've got an official GameSpot RPG launcher on its way to you in the post now. Congratulations.
And Anarchist chimes in. Mass Effect balloons? It's almost worth me taking time off work to hunt one down. Time off? We're making finding them our full-time job. There it is!
No, Seb, that's a bird.
There it is!
The same bird.
Moving on, we see you guys had a lot to say on the interview with Oz Hakkinen of Alan Wake's American Nightmare, most notably about the change to a more arcadey style.
Take Nate 2K4 for one. Tell us, Nate, how jaded does this make you feel? I feel mildly jaded about the Alan Wake American Nightmare conversion to action. I can't help but feel that the combat in Alan Wake was one of the most annoying aspects of the game, especially when the shadow started Zerg rushing you. I guess if there is plenty of exposition to go along with the shooty oh no dodge bits, then it may be worth a look.
Also fearful of the action is GameSpot user Supermassive20. Great way to ruin a game series, Remedy. American Nightmare looks awful. Alan Wake was creative and steeped in a claustrophobic atmosphere. American Nightmare looks like a cheesy crap fest. Sorry guys, but you're not getting my money this time. Crap fest. You know, I think I went to that last year.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Overrated.
And lastly, in reference to our stunning matching get-up of the week previous, this guy wants to know, Jane and Seb, do you buy your shirts from the same shop?
Shirts? No. Socks and pants? Always.
We get discount for bulk buying.
But that's us done for another week. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you somehow didn't, check your monitor power button is in the on position because we look pretty spectacular here.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
You know, I really don't know about this patch. They're like chafy.
Chafy,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, really
kind of
chafy.
right up. I don't know.
Oh, hey, you're still here.
Oh, hi.
That's good.
Yeah.
We've got more Start Select if you would like to watch all of them from the beginning of time.
Yes, if you'd like to see every Start Select ever made, and why wouldn't you, you can click up here.
And you can also subscribe to GameSpot here on YouTube. It's that button right there. In the meantime, I actually saw another place down the road we could check and...
More pants.
I like your pants.
I like yours.
Do you want to do...
Yeah, let's trade. All right.
Swapsies, okay.
So chafy.
Oh, ow, 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 ow.